Today on Headlines with Headliners, we talk about did Trump win? And a couple other stories like Chappelle on SNL, Lil Kim slot machines, football tweets, football girlfriends, and did Trump win on today's Headlines with Headliners. Tune in. Yeah, getting into the groove, you know what I'm saying? Hey. You know, there's not a lot of people dancing out right now. Trump winning.
That's why I'm just here with mine.
Oh, you have the fist up?
Yeah.
I
don't know how to do my fit, because my nail. I don't know how to get my...
Yeah, it's in the front. Yeah.
Is it? Well, that's an S in sign language, so that's weird.
An S in sign language?
S or an A, but for me, I feel like it's...
Nah, this is a fist. It's a fist. I didn't come on. It's the Black Panther fist, Black Pride.
It feels, when I do it like this, when I put the thumb in the front, but for some reason when I pull it back, it's like...
I understand, because you're punching. You're actually punching because you're a fighter. I'm a lover, Kanisha, so I don't understand those things. But I do know that a lot of people confuse Black Pride with white hate, which I always find very interesting. And that's probably because that's what white pride means. White pride means black hate, and that's probably the confusion. But Black Pride in a lot of ways, most times, never means hate of any other race, but just pride in one's own race.
Well, that's the
and
same
equality.
thing with Black Lives Matter. We don't just mean Black Lives Matter. We mean include us in all these mattering lives. So.
And all the mattering lives. Well, you know, a lot of people took exception to that, and nothing shows that better than the fact that Donald Trump won. So,
are we jumping straight in?
I mean, that's the first story. We can't even listen. We need to talk about this simply because I feel like the entire country needs to talk about this. This is a topic that's very polarizing in the country right now, and we see a lot of the after effects and the ripple effects of the Donald Trump. Going into it, a lot of people thought it was a joke.
Yes.
Like it was a joke. Some people thought it was a conspiracy. People actually thought that Donald Trump is running to allow for a Hillary Clinton presidency.
Which makes a reason why a lot of people didn't vote. I know a lot of people was like, oh, Hillary's going to win. They thought it was such a joke that they didn't even go vote.
And when you say a lot of people, you realize you mean 90 million people.
Yes.
So an overwhelming amount of the voting population, eligible voters, did not vote in this election. We had basically record lows for the last 20 years in this election, and Donald Trump won. Enough said. Like, there's no other detail that needs to go in. Donald Trump won. A lot of people they're blaming the Electoral College. They're blaming the fact that Hillary won the popular vote, but not the electoral vote, which actually did not happen. It's actually not true.
I was just going to say, even with the popular vote, people are acting like it was like this landslide difference. It looked about 4 or 5 votes to me if you put the number. You know what I'm saying? People are acting like she won by me. I was like, this is, about $200 worth of
After the final tally with Arizona coming in, it does look like he also won the popular vote, still by a very slim margin. Like, we're talking about less than 20,000 votes, which is very marginal when you think of the overall tally of a vote. But Donald Trump won. And that's something a lot of people thought was inconceivable. In fact, here at the Black Hollywood Live studio, there was a conversation that happened outside that day. Of course I'm going to bring that up. There's a conversation that happened outside with another one of the correspondents who is a big Hillary fan and was adamant that Hillary was going to win. And one of our producers, Steven, who simply made a small wager with him that said he thinks Trump's going to win. Not that he was voting for Trump, not that he was supporting Trump. He had no fun. He just felt like people are underestimating Trump and the power Trump has, and that Trump was going to win. There's a $100 wager. And I simply weighed in and I said that, Steven, that's a very good bet. I would take that bet. I think Trump's going to win as well. I think Trump's going to win. And this person who happened to be black, because I don't want it to sound like, and Steven does happen to be white, but
and you happen to be in the middle.
And I'm right in the middle. So the black gentleman was explaining to me as if I didn't understand the concept of Hillary and how successful Hillary is and how her resume works out and how she became the senator twice. And I simply explained that even when she became the senator of New York in 2000, Rudy Giuliani was running against her.
Oh, I can't stand
that. Rudy Giuliani's tough. He's tough, but he was winning by 13, 14 points. He had to drop out because he got prostate cancer. Now, I don't wish prostate cancer on anyone, but if there was someone who I wish prostate cancer on, it might be Rudy Giuliani.
Yes.
Whatever. Anyway, the point is, even though he did do a thing of cleaning up New York, but in the cleaning up process, he gave the police the power that we see is resonant in all the lawsuits that are coming up now.
Yes.
And he gentrified, like his cleaning up was gentrifying New York, which was a
Yes.
problem in my eyes. But anyway, Rudy Giuliani dropped out, and so Hillary Clinton was able to beat Lazio, who was who she was running against, and won. The gentleman was explaining things to me as if I didn't understand anything. Remember, he was like, "Yo,
I was there.
You don't understand. You don't get it. And he spoke with a condescending tone, which a lot of millennials and a lot of hipsters and a lot of people, like, I feel like young people, we just speak in this kind of, like, I know everything, you know nothing tone.
Yes.
Being liberal to me does not mean you're open-minded. Being liberal means you have progressive views on and liberal views on policies, period. Being conservative and being liberal are basically the same thing when it comes to if you're trying to say, hey, anything I say is right. Being open-minded is being able to understand both points of views, having an opinion, but understanding without condoning the other side.
Yes.
And I find myself to be, I think I'm a very open-minded person. Like, I can see both sides. I may not agree with them,
Yes.
but I see it.
Yes.
I also see that I see an America which we undervalued and underestimated the amount of racists that live in this country, bigots that live in this country, white Americans that live in this country, and people overall who were just tired of the establishment. Because there's a mantra right now that all Muslims are not terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslim, which is flawed logic, right? In my opinion, very flawed logic. But a flip piece of that theorem would say that not all Trump supporters are racist, but all racists seem to be Trump supporters.
You know what? I can give that to you. And I've seen a lot of memes going around saying that all Trump supporters aren't racist, but that doesn't mean it's not a deal breaker, which is important because you condone the bigotry, the sexism, and everything else. That's just how I feel about it. But on the other side, I feel like Trump is kind of two-faced, and he knows he's kind of two-faced on a lot of things. So I'm not exactly sure what Trump we're gonna get. And on the other side of that, I feel like he played the game. Like, he is a reality star. He knows what people want. He knows the type of hate that lies in this country.
How to get
he
ratings.
rose a sleeping beast, and I feel like he did all that, and it's the backlash of how the people are taking it versus how he is to me. Like, that first 24 hours, there were so many reports of hate crimes that were out, including some of my friends and some of the people
Wow.
that I know, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. It's like they gave them permission. They even showed on the news that in San Francisco, people had to start replacing their American flags with the Nazi flag, and you're just like,
And San Diego,
Yes.
and places where you wouldn't
Yes.
expect it. But
and I
it's-
want to know, like, yeah, go ahead and put your flag up. I want to know where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing.
Exactly.
You let
So
me know.
now I know where you actually stand. Like,
The silent majority that all went out didn't want to say they were voting for Trump, but looks like they went and voted for Trump. That as well.
that first 24 hours you were talking about
Yes.
an open show of racism.
Yes.
I also saw an open show of Donald Trump backtracking on a lot of things that he was saying.
Yes.
All of a sudden, this became a very liberal-minded Donald Trump.
That's what I'm saying. He's two-faced, so I don't know what he's gonna get. Like, I'm more worried about how his supporters feel like they give them free reign to act ignorant versus what Donald Trump is gonna do. Like, I'm more worried about
That's
the
a
actions
valid
of
concern.
the people because it is. Look at how they're acting right now. There was a lunchroom, middle school, and they're chanting "Build a Wall" with little Latino kids crying and Mexican kids crying, and they're middle school. You know what I'm saying? So we're passing this hate on, and it's driving me crazy right now. And I feel like he was the fire for it, but it's always been there. He didn't make these people this way. This is the way they've always been, and now they feel like they have the freedom because they've had to shut up since the civil rights movement. But these same people were slapping people at the lunch counter, like they were around 50 years ago.
I don't know if they were slapping people at the lunch counter, but I do know they were passing over LaShondas and LaQuandas and
All
Shaniquas
that
for
too.
jobs.
All that.
And promotions, and they were probably doing that very low-key, very subliminally, and now they're just way more open. There's way more open racism now than I've seen in the past, at least in the past 20 years, in my view.
Yes.
But at the same time, I agree with you saying Donald Trump isn't the cause of this. This was just it was just the catalyst. It wasn't the actual problem that was there. If Donald Trump didn't win, these people would still live in this country. It's not like they disappeared.
They would still live in this country, but I don't think if they would have been as outwardly racist. But I am happy that it's happening because especially for minorities, we live in a world where everybody's like, oh, you're overreacting. The racism like that doesn't exist. Racism in America is down. And now you have to swallow every last one of those words because for the white people that, I'm going to just say, for the white people that had on the rose-colored glasses, and some of them really believed that this wasn't an issue, now you have to see what we see every day. And that is, and it's causing some of them to be outraged as well because they couldn't believe it. And I'm seeing families fall apart and people are losing friends. And you know what I'm saying? It's like this is somewhere where you have to stand your ground. And another reason why I'm happy, because I feel like it's going to be love versus hate. Everybody that is against hate, we're all going to have to come together to be against what this is going on. And that one thing they say about black people anyway, we don't have anything to fight for. That's why we're not as unified as we were once before. So this is definitely something to fight against this hate and come together.
Well, actually, I don't feel like black people are the ones who are as upset or caught off guard as the rest of America.
Because we've been dealing with it forever.
This isn't anything new. In fact, something we'll talk about later, the SNL skit showed something like that was very entertaining and very humorous and funny. But in my opinion, it's like real. Now we're talking real.
Yeah.
Does the president really affect us? Like, I'm not in a tax bracket where his policies really bother me. Like, I don't know. Like, President Obama, it was very cool that President Obama was the president, and it was a black president. He was half black, and it was great. Never sent me a check. Like, never sent me a sticker. In fact, you know what didn't happen? They had a Persian New Year's celebration every year they tend to have them, but this past one was the biggest one. He didn't even send me an invitation.
Aww.
And people who shouldn't have been there got invited. Yeah, I'm still bitter. I'm very bitter about that because I feel like I should have been invited to this. My comedian friends were invited and I was not. I was very actually upset about that. But what I mean is President Obama didn't really affect policies except for the concept of healthcare, universal health care.
Well, now Trump is like, well, it's not so bad. So, like, he's going back, like you said, on a lot of stuff. So we'll see how that's going to play out.
And it's very interesting how that part is going to play out. Like all these little things, because you know what happens when you become the president? You come into a room and someone sits down and goes, "We need to talk. Like, we need to have a real conversation."
Let me tell you what's really going on. If you look at his face, I don't think he really understands the scope of the presidency because he looks drained, like really off of one briefing. But one thing that
he didn't know he was going to win.
Yes.
He was like,
I don't know. But there's one thing that you said that would it affect you? And I know as a woman, with him trying to push to overturn Roe versus Wade, that affects me a lot. And trying to put people in place. If he does. Well, that's a big concern for me. That is a huge concern for me, for him overturning that.
Well, he can't overturn it. The Supreme Court has to overturn it.
Yes, but he's saying he wants to put people in place which has already been teetering off like one judge anyway. So we've already been always so close to having that overturned anyway. And for all those that don't know, it is to make abortions legal. And I'm terrified of that. Like, that is my one, besides foreign policy, because that's what I'm worried about, that I'm worried about the abortion situation.
And I completely understand a lot of these rights that are being affected possibly, but nothing is concrete.
Yes.
In fact, even all the Republicans that are helping Donald Trump are kind of being extremely vague with what they want to get done, because I don't know if they realize what Donald Trump's policies were. Up till last year, Donald Trump was actually very liberal.
Yes, he's two-faced. I keep telling you, he knows how to win.
Possibly. I mean, there is always that clip from him on Oprah when he's like, if I ever ran, I would run Republican because people are stupid.
Yeah.
And I'd just get in the power and then change it all. And maybe that's what happened. I don't know. I do know that Donald Trump has brought on President Obama as an advisor.
Yes.
Because, as you stated, allegedly they weren't prepared for the scope of the presidency.
Yeah.
And he does have a lot of minorities, even though some of those minorities include Dr. Ben Carson in his advisory cabinet. So we'll see what happens. I mean, this is we'll see what happens situation.
I feel like there's some things that are gonna come out good from him being in the presidency. And do I feel like Hillary was the best choice? I really didn't want her to be president either. I did over Trump, but she wasn't my number one choice.
We didn't like that's what it came down to. People didn't like Hillary as much.
People didn't really like her as much, and she's got a lot of BS going on, besides the email. So I'm gonna put my faith in him doing some good and going against some of these establishments and things that we did need somebody to fight against that have been in place. But my biggest fear is not Trump; it's Trump supporters. That's where I'm gonna leave. I'm scared of them and their actions and what they want to do and the entitlement that it gives them.
There are people walking around. There's white people walking around with a lot more pep in their step. Like, Trump's gonna take care of all this shit. Like, they're ready.
The crazy part is I seen a young black man, and he was at a Trump it was right after he won, and it was a bunch of white people in his clan, and he just had a sign that says, "I'm here for the racist shit. I wish you would." And I was like, that's how we kind of feel. Like, I feel like we need to go around playing Knuck If You Buck by Crime Mob and just see what happens at this point. Like, because we're not my favorite meme is, we are not our grandparents. We will F you up. And that is true. Like, I know you want us to be more docile and those things that we were back in the day, but we don't gotta shut up. You're not just gonna burn a cross in the yard and we gonna be in the house crying. It's gonna be head up on the street, and I don't want it to see it go there. But sometimes I've already
like
seen.
You do kind of want it to go there.
Yeah, just Knuck If You Buck. See what? Do you got a problem? Let's solve it. What is the issue? You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing. Let's not just only blame Trump supporters, because on the flip side, I've seen a lot of videos of people who voted for Trump getting beat up and bashed.
I have seen it.
And I don't think that's appropriate either.
No,
Listen,
I don't.
To me, all the protests and everything, there is no place for sore losers in democracy. The one thing, and we talked about this before, that I believe came out of this Trump election is the fact that with Donald Trump, listen, it's crazy to even say Donald Trump is the president. It's like a crazy
it's like
thing
the
to say.
Twilight Zone.
I know. Look, Donald Trump is the president of the United States.
Yes.
Okay. I now believe in the system of government in the United States, and I'll tell you why. I told you this before.
Yes, you did say this.
Is that because, listen, everything was stacked up against Donald Trump. The Democrats definitely didn't want him to win. There's places we've seen with the Bernie and everything. They've cut corners to get Hillary in place. Jay-Z threw a concert. LeBron supporter. Madonna sucked people off for her to get votes. That really was a thing, right? That was a thing to talk about.
I was unaware.
Yeah, that was a thing she
Allegedly.
brought up. Okay, no, she said like, I'm willing to go and give out head in order for people to vote for Hillary. I don't know what else they had. Michael Jackson, a hologram, something. They had all these things stacked up against Donald Trump.
Yes.
The people in the Republican Party didn't want Donald Trump to win. They talked about him. They said no. Every past president that's still living did not want Donald Trump to win. And yet, because of the voting system in the United States, this great country of ours, Donald Trump, the man who should not have won the president elect. And when people were like, oh, Obama showed me that anyone could become president. No, to me, Donald Trump showed me that anyone, within reason, because he is also a billionaire, let's not discount that, but can become the president of the United States because the system actually worked. People went out and voted. And the Electoral College, which is actually meant to prevent large populations from being the only deciding factor. That's why we have it, because we have such a diverse country that's spread out, so that it's not just, because if it was only the popular vote, then anyone who voted in California, New York, Chicago, and like 2 other cities, that's all they would need to win, because that's where the most of the population is concentrated. Like no other states or no other state issues or no other federal issues would even come into play, because they would only placate to their voting audience, right?
Yeah.
Just like the candidates do now in the Electoral College, but at least they have to spread out and make promises to all 50 states and all the territories. So here we're looking at an Electoral College, which is designed for this system, and he won against all odds. The people who big farm, they did not want him to win.
No.
They had all pledged towards Hillary. I mean, Grubhub.
And they are a problem. So I hope that something happens with them. They are. So that's the thing that sucks. It's like I love a lot of his ideas, but his bigotry like freaking negates it all. But then it's like he's two-faced as well. I just don't know what to expect. Like I'm sitting on edge trying to figure out what is going to happen. But you had always said, we always thought it was rigged. We didn't think your vote mattered. You didn't think anything counted.
It does.
And at this moment you're going, well, hell, I guess.
And black
guess
vote counted because we didn't come out as much strong as usual. The Latino vote counted. The Latinos didn't come out as strong as usual. The woman vote, this country is 55% women. Women didn't come out as strong as usual.
I've seen pictures of women going the PUSSY grab is back, and they're dancing and making fun of it, and I was like, if you still want to vote for him, that's one thing, but to taunt that irritated the hell out of me. But then that just goes show you their level of other women taunting sexual assault is obviously they're woohoo.
And Hillary Clinton, she knows what it feels like to be a black woman now.
Hey.
She does. She 30 years of experience, and she got passed over for a white man for the same job who had no experience. That's real. She's had she is a very experienced candidate.
Yes.
And she lost. I don't know. Hillary Clinton can just not win. Like she didn't even win to be the president of her chess club. I don't understand.
Could you imagine that self-talk? Like you got to go back to your hotel room, like
she didn't give a speech to the people.
Gosh,
she didn't give like a real statement. Like most most presidents come out and give a statement.
Because she doesn't know. She was in the bathroom crying. When you look in the mirror after a breakup and you're just crying, like that's what she was doing. She was in there just crying. Like, how could this possibly freaking happen?
How did this happen?
And you know why? Side note. Hey, if any of y'all are part of that 11,000 that voted for Harambe, you need to be slapped. To get your grown butt out of bed, go stand in line, go sign up and vote for a gorilla.
No. Because here's the thing. I never want anyone to talk about anyone that voted. People did not want to vote for the president. They did want to vote for their congressman, their senator, the other propositions. Like in California, we had a bunch of propositions. Because you want to vote on the other stuff. The president wasn't the only.
That's true.
It wasn't the only vote on this ballot. There were lots of things to vote for.
Yes.
This was a ballot where we voted for all 435 representatives, for 34 senators.
Yes.
I mean, this is a very important. There were at least 52 propositions. I think the average was like maybe 23 propositions throughout the states, throughout the country. There's a lot of things to vote for.
Okay,
your local sheriffs, your local people. I mean, this is an election day. And so I'm actually glad that the people who voted for Harambe voted for Harambe. Just the fact that you went out and voted, especially on the other things. And for all the people who are like, oh, you voted third party, you threw away your vote. Well, on the flip side, anyone who voted third party could look at a Democrat and be like, you voted Democrat. You threw away your vote. You should have voted green. We shouldn't chastise people for voting the way they wanted to vote.
Okay, you don't got to embarrass me on TV. You're right.
I'm just saying.
You're right.
Because people shamed other people. It's like, this is our
But they didn't have to write. For me, I'm like, come on, you go write in Harambe. But I guess it stands and shows, look, I didn't want to vote for either one of you. So 11,000 of us was unhappy. I guess I'll look at it from that perspective.
It was people who didn't want to vote. This was one of those votes. And now the people have spoken. And Donald Trump... it's hard for me to say Donald Trump is the president-elect of the United States of America. We stay tuned. This is the best soap opera on TV right now. Oh my gosh. Stay tuned and see what happens.
We need to replace him on the penny instead of Lincoln.
We'll see
You're
what
already
happens.
orange, brother.
Story number 2. This weekend, Dave Chappelle made headlines as he hosted Saturday Night Live for the first time, bringing in record ratings and Chappelle humor to SNL. And the sketches. Actually, one of the best sketches was with him and Chris Rock. Chappelle also brought out Tribe Called Quest as the show's musical guest. It was a big deal. I thought his monologue wasn't as strong.
I agree.
When it comes to humor. But the points he made were very, very valid.
And the closing, it wasn't even a joke. He was so serious at the ending, and I was like, yes, I loved it. It was all pure knowledge.
Pure Dave.
There was no punchline or anything. My favorite part, though, is the white rioters. Like, I mean, that was my favorite part of his monologue, was talking about how white people are outside rioting. You got a mumble demon, guys.
You do that.
Yeah.
You do that. That's a Kanisha thing. Yeah.
You know.
So I think it's interesting. I really like the sketch with him and Chris Rock sitting with their friends and the white friends and the white people just being so surprised that Donald Trump was winning. And all she has to do is win Alaska, Atlanta, Georgia.
Weak because
it was real.
These are the same people that are like, racism isn't as bad, guys. It's so much bad. So that's why this was my favorite sketch. I was like, let's play it.
You know what? They told us not to play it. We're playing it. Play it up.
Oh, snap, are we?
Brother-in-law at CBS, he says Trump's going to win Florida.
Word? I guess that the Latinos didn't hear about your toast.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at the dap. Look at the dap. That's real love right there.
Yes, that is. Yes, it is.
That's real camaraderie.
I just want to say, though, I felt like Chris was...
Trump might actually win.
I mean, of course. What are you talking about?
I tried to tell him that.
What is happening? Why are women even voting for him?
Yeah, I don't get you ladies. I mean, the country's 55% women.
There we go.
I mean, if the country was 55% black, well, we'd have tons of black presidents. I mean, Flavor Flav would be president.
I don't know about Flavor Flav, but yeah.
That's the equivalent of Trump.
That's the thing. It's just an interesting situation, interesting scenario, and I love how they used humor to play it out and explain and express how Black America thought versus how white America, especially white millennial and white hipster America, and we tend to only think of, especially we live in LA, we tend to only think of our surroundings. Like everyone's like the way we are around us. It is not.
The West is completely different than the South.
The West
and
is
the
very
East
different than the South. Exactly. New York and LA, they're both a little more liberal and progressive. But the rest of it, that middle America, which is a huge show. And also, let's not forget the breakdown of of the population of the United States. You have 330 million approximate Americans, right?
Yeah.
At any given time, you have maybe 40 million black people, 50 million Hispanics and Latinos, maybe 30 million other, and then everyone else is white.
Yes.
Everyone else, almost 2/3 of this country at any given time is white American.
Yeah.
And that's something that people don't realize, because if you live in New York or DC or Chicago, LA, you don't see that.
You
That's
see
not what you
diversity.
see. San Francisco, that's not what you see. You see diversity, so you imagine that the rest of the country is diverse. It is not. It is not. And there's a lot of people who are very disgruntled, and the same people who were disgruntled with President Obama becoming president 8 years ago are now being vindicated. And then the flip is the people who were vindicated when President Obama became president are now
Yes.
feeling very disenfranchised.
Yes.
So it's very interesting when, 25 to 35-year-old white males are disenfranchised. The rest of us are screwed. So Dave was on. How'd you feel about all the Saturday Night Live episode in general?
It was cool.
It was all right.
It was all right. Okay,
Saturday
but I
Night
love
Live has
everybody
gone
loves
down. It's
Tribe
gone
Called
downhill.
Quest,
Tribe is popping, but
yes.
new Tribe isn't what it used to be.
No, but
so
it still
we have
had
to
some of
act
that
like it
old
is, but it's really
flavor.
not. The old Tribe was killing it. I mean, Backpack Theory and all that. It's like, yeah.
But you gotta
Low
understand
End Theory.
too. Even watching this Chappelle and them guys, they looked honestly disgusted even doing the sketches. Like, people still have a lot of stuff on their heart and their brain, just really realizing what has to go on. So I feel like that stuff was weighing, even though everybody wanted to do their job, it was weighing on them. And if you watch that sketch, Chappelle is genuinely disgusted because he knows this is how people were thinking, and that's
Really
what made
were.
it so funny to me. And they were just coming in, even when you gave them the dap, it's like the fact that we even have to do this, we've been know this. So that's one thing that I picked up from this as well.
It's interesting to me because I heard, I always have this mantra where it's like, people who feel know tragedy. Life is tragedy. And people who think, life is comedy. And that's what it is. Like, comedy is just an explanation of tragedy without the tears. So it's like, this is a perfect example of true comedy, is when you take something that's in some ways tragic to a lot of people, and yet you bring it to light and make it like a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Everyone can swallow this piece of information. But it was really true. So very interesting. For a little more humor, Lil Kim somehow made it into the news as she decided to make a run for the border, as the Queen Bee stated that she was a Spanish girl trapped in a black woman's body in a video that goes viral. Black Twitter is going hardcore on the hardcore rapper. Let's just hear this clip really quick. It's just like 6 seconds of her.
Like, I'm a Spanish girl trapped in a black girl's body, but I'm all mixed up, girl. But anyway,
So that's Lil Kim. That's Lil Kim.
I don't care what she feels like. She looks like a geisha. So, A, you're a lot of cultures right now. And two, Spanish where? Are you Spain? Are you Mexico? Are you Guatemalan? Like, what do you mean when you say? I can't take Lil Kim because she's never happy in who she was. And it just sucks because I thought she was a beautiful girl when she was black. I don't know how she's Spanish on the inside.
Well,
I've never
she
heard
looks
her say
Spanish
that.
on the outside.
She
and
looks like a geisha. She does not look Spanish.
She's very plastic right now. I don't know how
looks
this
Chinese.
skin lightening thing works, but everyone's getting, like, all these people are getting the skin lightening thing. Charlemagne, Lil Kim.
All these guys.
People are
And I'm in
getting
the sun trying to get baked. What
Now,
kind of reverse?
I don't understand this, and I don't really like the plastic Lil Kim.
Oh,
I
gosh.
used to love Lil Kim back
She
in the
was
day when she was
gorgeous
killing it.
with her
she
little
was,
curls.
and I get it, but
But
this
she
is
said nobody
different.
ever made her feel beautiful. And that's what sucks when you live in a world where, unfortunately, especially in our black is not beautiful. Black is you know what I'm saying? Like, that pride. And when you don't have no self-love, this is what happens when you don't have self-love. You're a geisha on the outside, you're Latino on the inside, you're white hair on that. Like, there's no... Like, you have a daughter, and now you're telling her that you're not even a black woman on the inside. It's crazy as hell to me.
I think it's interesting because I've seen a lot of black girls who, especially because I'm half black, half Persian, they'll try to, well, I'm half black, half Egyptian, 1/3 French, 2/3, Creole.
First of all, don't be hating on
15%.
us because I'm one of those girls. I'm
But
German, Irish, and
you're actually of mixed heritage.
Oh,
But
they
this is
just
what I
made it up?
mean, is that these girls just make it up because it makes them feel better.
Yes.
It makes them feel more exotic. And I'm always like, you know what? You were more beautiful to me when you were black.
When you were black.
Like, there's no such thing as like, and then some people will be like, I'm just black. And it's like, there is no just black. People often say, oh my God, you're half Persian? That's so rare. No, actually, there's 100 million plus Persian people in the world. There's less than 40 million black people. Black American is the most rare, unique experience in the world. The Black American heritage is unique.
Yes.
And it's one of the most tragic histories. And if you say that reality and realness comes from tragedy, well, then there's nothing more real than the Black experience. I'm actually like, it's more rare that I'm half Black. There's not that many Black people. When I say Black, I mean Black American people in the world. Sure, there's a lot of Africans and there's a lot of Jamaicans
totally
and Haitians, but it's different. It's the culture that comes from having your culture eradicated and taken from you. It's very unique. It's very centralized to the United States, and I think it's actually a beautiful thing. And if being Black, I believe Black is beautiful.
Yes,
you know?
It is.
To some extent. I don't mean every Black person is beautiful. I've seen some ugly Black people. I've seen some ugly mixed people. I've seen a lot of ugly people. Like I was just in San Francisco. No offense. But what I'm saying is...
But I totally get what you're saying, but this is just... I just think it's damaging. I really do. I just think it's damaging to not...
Black Twitter's really upset.
Oh, they've been going in.
They're going in on her. And because Lil Kim's done some crazy things in the past 10.
Yeah.
So we miss you, Little Kim. Come back.
Please.
Notorious KIM, we miss you.
Donde está Little Kim?
Hilarious. Story number 4. Imagine that you thought you hit the $1 million jackpot and then did not get the payout. Well, Katrina Bookman does not need to imagine it, since that's exactly what happened to her at Resorts World Casino in Jamaica, Queens, when her slot machine showed that the mother of 4 had won $42,949,672.
She spent half of that before she even
knew,
told
like before
anybody.
it was done. And telling when she videoed it, the casino claimed the machine malfunctioned and pulled the machine and her winnings, saying the machine payout is max $6,500, but they didn't even offer her that. They offered her a couple dollars and offered her a steak dinner instead.
First of all, let me tell you something. When you see that amount of money, you already know what you're going to pay for. You know what you're
That's
getting
how
your
she
kids
felt.
for this Christmas. They're going to school. You're going shopping. You're going to buy your booster. Like that type of money
We
is...
going Sizzler. We going Sizzler.
Like you didn't tweet at everybody. You know how she probably already quit her job. She probably done sent middle fingers to all her exes. Like she probably, you know what I'm saying? When
Right
you win
then.
that type of money, you just go crazy. And now she got to retract all these statements. But my thing is, you can't just offer me a steak dinner. I need steak dinners until I die. I need a room here anytime I feel like coming. Like you have to compensate. This type of joy I'll never feel again.
Exactly. That's emotional turmoil, if you ask me.
That's tragic.
And she's suing. I
would sue too.
And
Do you think
Wow.
she's going to win? Because this is what it's saying. So you can't just all of a sudden, oh, it malfunctioned. Why would it come up with this crazy number? That's like if you go to the grocery store and they have something marked, they have to give you that price.
They actually don't have to give it to you. That's customer service. And in the casinos, every slot machine has a little disclaimer at the bottom that says winnings are void if slot machine malfunctions. And this is not the first time. There's a precedent set where they're probably not going to pay her out. What they're going to try to do is what we can do as people is, if we basically tweet this out and talk about this, they're going to try to hedge their bets by paying her out simply because they don't want the bad publicity. But as far as legality goes, they probably don't owe her anything, except the winning number on the ticket, which was a couple dollars.
So, oh gosh. But do you think because you know when everything is so public, if you think they would give her something?
If things go very public and they feel, listen, we talk about the vote a lot. The biggest vote that we have, we vote every day. It's with our dollar bill.
Yes.
So if you don't like something, if you vote against it by not spending your money there, whether it's you want more black people in movies, easy. Don't pay for movies that don't have black people as a majority or a good minority, strong minority, or a lead in a movie. Whatever it is, boycott something. If you boycott it, you are effectively voting against it. And trust me, they will fix it.
Yeah.
They will fix it, because that's the biggest hindrance to any business, is that loss of dollar, loss of economic power, right? So with something like this, Rosewood Casino and Resorts World Casino in Jamaica, Queens, if everyone, especially all the black people, just stopped going to this casino because of this, then trust me, they would figure it out. They would pay her
so
out.
they don't have to give her that much, but give her something. She ain't even happy enough in this photo. You could have gave me half of that. I'd have been pop locking. It would have just been a photo. Like, she ain't even smiling big enough for me. Like, this is heartbreaking.
Look at
Christmas
that.
is ruined.
It hurt my heart.
It hurts mine
I feel
too.
bad for her, but yeah, legally there is not a much recourse. We'll see what happens, but we as a community can stick up for one another.
Yeah.
And when these kind of things happen, we all just say, hey, we're sticking together.
She better call Trump. This is the type of stuff he gonna go against. Trump, help her get her money. Restore our faith and get her money.
Trump, that's how he's going to restore it, is to get her money?
Get her money.
I don't see
We're
Trump
getting
doing
big
that.
business.
Story number 5. There was drama on and off the field last week as your Seattle Seahawks cornerback Richard Sherman jumped offsides on a field goal attempt by the Buffalo Bills' Dan Carpenter, running into and injuring the kicker. Carpenter's wife, Kayla, decided to take it upon herself and get into the action. And what many people are saying is overboard, as she tweeted, "I know what we do on the farm when a male can't control his own rage. Hashtag lucky I'm not there. Hashtag Sherman. Hashtag act like an animal, get treated like one."
With the castration tools, okay?
With the castration tools. So we're showing a picture of the tweet. Now, how do you feel about this?
First of all,
is it racist?
This is very racist. Side note, that's my frat brother, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. So I was already personally upset that she was talking to my family like this. Second, yes, because they used to castrate us, because they used to put us in zoos, because they treat us like animals. And I honestly think because of everything that's going on in the world, especially like I'm saying, the backlash of the Trump, that she felt like she could get away with this tweet and it wouldn't be taken so bad. I don't think it was a joke. I don't think anything about this was funny. And I think she need to have her face slapped, and you need to stay at a grown men's business and you let your husband deal with that. He didn't need you to run and jump in on this. And yes, I think it was racist.
Story number 6. Possible 2017 NFL draft pick and current Florida international tight end Jonnu Smith is literally in boiling water after his 5-month pregnant girlfriend Mary Gasper dumped boiling water on the tight end in his dorm room, explaining that she felt stressed and emotional. Smith suffered severe burns to his head, back, neck, shoulders, and arms, officially ending his season and possibly his football career.
First of all, you got to be the stupidest, silliest, goofiest. You got a baby on the way, okay? So if he was getting on your nerves, you got a check on the way. Hey, like, why would you ruined your future with this? Like, you didn't just ruin his future. You ruined your future. You ruined the life that your baby could have had. You ruined your purse collection, your shoe collection, your house, your yard, your car. You are goofy. He was going to the league. You have to be the stupidest. I mean, just selfishly, because obviously she's selfish. So for selfish reasons, she is so stupid because she just ruined her entire livelihood off of this, of what she could have had. Besides the fact that she need her ass whooped up and down the street after she have this baby. Just, you ruined your future. Every girl goes to catch them the NFL player, and you ruined it yourself, and you got the baby. Even if you wasn't together, you got a check. God, I'm upset.
I think it's the dashiki because, you know what? I can't even follow that up. My only thing is, what happened? Like, what did he do?
Because this is my thing.
I need to know, because he did. Because I was like, maybe he cheated, but there's no report that he cheated. No, she just like, she was upset. She felt like he wasn't showing her attention, and she just went. They got into a fight. She hit him a couple times. When he didn't take her seriously, she threw boiling water.
Boiled water.
Yeah.
Oh my! First of all, they need to keep eyeing her because I'm sure she's going to suffer from postpartum depression. Hey, that's serious. If she's already having these type of thoughts, because nothing really happened. So if something's so minor, and you got to take these things seriously, because we just seen a mother kill her kids because the dad wasn't responding. She needs to be monitored on a serious level, because to ruin somebody's career like that and to hurt somebody that you love and that you're having a baby with is deeper than being stressed. Because I have caught my man sleeping with a woman in my house that I did not like on video, and I didn't pour no water on him. Now you bleach up something, you cut up his clothes, piss in his jersey, put some, you know what I'm saying, things like that. But you don't ruin and phically harm this man, especially over something that's not crazy.
Like, she burned him. That's
Yes.
that's just not even. Like, I would rather have my arm broken than get burned.
To burn, because you have ruined this man's future over something petty. And because I got my dashiki on, and because I'm feeling the way that I get, that's what you get for messing with them old crazy ass white women.
Next week, we'll be right back here at Headlines with Headliners. I am Tehran, literally at I am Tehran, all across the board. IG, Twitter.
Oh, we got 5 minutes.
Everything. Oh, no, we don't. I think, listen, I think our time is up. I'm voting Kanisha Bus for president 2020 because that was amazing. Please find me on social media at IG, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, everything possible at I am Tehran. Mondays and Thursdays, Laugh Factory. Mr. Nate Jackson, please find him at Mr. Nate Jackson. He's currently on the Wild 'N Out tour, doing comedy, headlining. He will be at my show next Monday, murdering it.
Hey!
Yeah, it's a true story.
Well, guys, Kanisha Bus.
AKA Miss Firecracker.
Listen, Kanisha is comedy. Kanisha is comedy. Look me up on everything. Check me out over at All Deaf Digital, Sirius XM, and if you are at the Santa Monica West Side Theater, November 27th, I will be filming my condoms special.
I'll be there.
I'll be there filming a stand-up special for Everybody Digital.
Know what she's thinking about.
Yeah, I'm thinking about trying to give me an NFL player and not throw water on him.
Whoa.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Guys, we're out.
We're had a good time, guys.
Always.
Power to the people.
Make sure to comment down below. We love you guys. Black Hollywood Live, Headlines with Headliners. See you next week.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio, Instagram @KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in. The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.